gonna be great. I can't even speak in words.
Watch our video.
We have a podcast.
We're going to Haunted Waters.
Welcome to Remnants. I'm Emily.
And I'm Kayla.
And this is part 2 of Hall of Waters.
Woohoo!
Woo! It's also New Year's Eve for us. It won't be for you, but...
Well, technically this episode's coming out tomorrow.
Oh my god!
You know, we had said when we took that longish break in the middle of this season, we were like, oh, it's going to be to catch up because we got tired of editing and recording the night before we had to release the episode. And here we are.
We're
with
here.
The same problem.
We did so good.
But you know, life. It was the holidays. We both got sick separately. Yeah. We just got behind.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll have a schedule that we maintain and that works.
But we're also just hot. Today has been an interesting day.
Oh my god. Yeah. So our New Year's Eve, we're like kind of taking it chill. Like we're not going to a party or drinking or anything like that. But
there's this new sushi restaurant that opened in Kansas City.
Yeah.
One of those like revolving sushi bar places.
Yeah.
And we knew it would have a wait.
Mm-hmm.
But
it did.
It was longer than we thought.
Yeah. There was like an initial 2-hour-ish.
60 to 90 minute wait.
Yeah, which was more like an hour and a half. And then an additional...
Then we got there to check in because it's time to check in. And then it was like an additional 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we like had the pre-wait and we were waiting inside of Starbucks. Yeah. And then we went there and like, yay, it's time for our sushi. But then we had another wait. But then once we got there, it was super worth it. It was just like...
But we were so hungry at that point. I think we literally ate within 10 minutes.
We did. Because all of this just food comes down the conveyor belt. And you kind of know how much you're spending, but also like you don't because it's just this food flying at you. And you're like, yes, hum, hum, hum.
I know. At one point before I even had started eating, I think I had 4 plates in front of me. And I was like, I better eat what I have and stop grabbing.
I kind of felt bad for the people next to us because food, they roll around and we're like,
even think about other people.
No, if we're like, at this one, like I'm gonna stop stockpiling. But it was pretty cool, and then we like slid our plates into the little plate monster mouth, and then
I calculated how much. That was the chair.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forget my flatulent chair.
So yeah, lunch was like a whole 3-hour ordeal because
It
it's also like 30 minutes away from where we live, and it
wouldn't be such a thing if it wasn't winter and it wasn't 34 degrees and gray and depressing. So there's not like you can walk around if you want to suffer.
Yeah.
I love the cold, so it's a lot of fun.
This is Emily's favorite season.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in a full sweater, fully dressed with a blanket on at my desk. The heater's on, but it doesn't matter.
Can never get warm enough.
Nope. But after our sushi ordeal, we were coming back here to record, but then we're like, oh no, it's New Year's Eve. Things might close early. We need more food for later.
We need to get provisions for later. We must go out into the world.
So we went to Costco. Because we had a very important list. Have you guys... so one thing we needed to get was grapes. Because, have you guys seen... We've seen on Instagram and, TikTok everywhere these videos. And it's a tradition. It's not a tradition I've ever heard of, but where you eat,
South American tradition?
Something like that,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe just a tradition, but...
Yeah, so it's obviously nothing new. It's just the first time we'd heard of it. Where, at midnight, you eat 12 grapes, and you make a wish for each grape. So we're like, oh my god!
Gotta get grapes!
So now we're like, shit, we gotta come up with 24 wishes between the two of us.
I think a lot of our wishes are gonna overlap.
It's like, what'd you wish for? I can't tell you, or my grape wish won't come true.
But then it turned into, when I went to order the pizza, I thought I was selecting 2 drinks. Instead, I ordered 2 pizzas. And the Costco pizzas are already massive. So then I had 2 pizzas, but then thankfully they're really nice about it. I'm like, oh, just go over there to customer service and you can get a refund for the 1 pizza. And I think because pizzas are flying out the door.
Yeah. But an important detail to that is while we were waiting for the pizza,
we
were like, you know what? Let's get a churro and a sundae. So we're just standing there. I've got a big carton of grapes under one arm and a churro in my hand. I'm just nomming on that. Kayla has her sundae, and the guy calls us, and he has 2 pizzas, and we're like, what?
And then we're attempting to carry all of this.
Taking it back, and we're like, I know it looks like we would order 2 pizzas for us based on everything else here, but we only meant to get one of these pizzas because these are huge, and we're just going to eat one of them. And solely after we record this podcast, our only plan is to watch Lord of the Rings and eat pizza and grapes, I guess. So, ghosts.
Hall of Waters, ghosts.
This is going to be the remainder of our evidence from this investigation.
And I think we kind of talked about this a bit at the end of our last episode, that help me we got. So that would have come after this Estes method we did, the spirit box session. And I don't know. I think after you listen, you'll understand why.
Yeah, because
that's maybe significant.
Yeah, like, it's kind of nice coming back at this now, because I know our emotions had gotten kind of high finishing recording the last episode, so I'm hoping this one stays a little more chill.
Yes.
But, yeah, I think once you listen to the whole thing, if you're interested in listening to it, I definitely recommend you listen all the way through, because it's just a really, really interesting interaction, and very, I don't know, it's just weird.
It is.
Yeah.
So, but let's take us back and explain a little bit about where the location we are within Hall of Waters.
Yep. So we'll take you back into the episode and kind of jog your memory on the layout and get into the nitty gritties of boxing ghosts. We went to the water bar after that, and like Kayla said, it's the longest water bar in the U.S.?
No, in the world.
In the world, I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know how many water bars there are in the world.
True. Like, that's like a humble brag that nobody asked for, I guess. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's kind of where we talked about TR having his first big sort of paranormal moment where he saw the woman in the red dress, Monique. He also told us a story about, I think it was 3 years ago, he and his team went and investigated overnight because, like, all of Excelsior Springs lost power due to a storm or something like that. I don't know, it happens all the time in Missouri. Just like, oh, week-long power outage, great.
No biggie.
So they went and did that, and they caught, like, a ton of insane evidence, like, including hearing what sounded like choirs singing and organ music, and it was a little more compelling because there wasn't any electrical interference at the time because nothing was working. They were just in a dead building that was singing, which is casual. But for us, the water bar is significant because that is where we had our spirit box session, and we were doing Estes method. And we've historically, even though we're a little bit uncertain about the evidence we caught from Glore, where we did dual spirit boxes at this point, we do believe in dual spirit boxing, like having multiple spirit boxes on at once. We think it feeds into energy really well. It's kind of something we recommend when it comes to, like, getting some crazy activity. That's what we recommended with TR and his wife, whose name I can't remember right now. But we did that. So we had it set up. We were in the front of the water bar, and I was the one using our spirit box, and TR's wife was using hers, and we were sitting back to back in opposite chairs, and obviously we weren't in each other's laps. Sitting back to back with our headphones on, all of that fun stuff. And we had the weirdest freaking conversation. Like, Kayla can speak to, because she and TR were asking the questions, she can speak to how long we were actually there. I thought I was under for maybe 10 minutes.
It was 35 minutes.
Yeah, like, I was like, oh, no time at all. I got lightheaded. I was hearing voices outside of the headphones. Not outside, because I couldn't hear Kayla and TR speaking. I was literally, like, holding them down.
Outside of the spirit box?
Yes. Like, I was hearing voices that weren't there at all. Like, there shouldn't have been, because I was hearing a child speaking separate from, it was a whole thing. And we're not going to play 35 minutes of it, but we're going to play it was about, like, 9 minutes. That was actually, like, conversation that we believe was between the spirit Emily and Walter.
And big disclaimer, so I
forgot about that.
I think it was coming from TR's wife's spirit box, but there's this high-pitched ringing that I heard at the time, and it didn't sound that loud, but of course it is extremely loud.
Yeah, it's
on
a
the
little
audio.
difficult.
But you kind of get used to it. So, but if it's very irritating to you, just skip ahead 9 minutes. But we really think you should suffer through and listen, because this is a super compelling Estes method session. And what's interesting about the ringing is it seems to intensify.
It does.
When Emily is clearly talking to Emily or Walter, and there's a couple times where it kind of backs off. So it's odd that this ringing like ebbs and flows.
Yeah, and there are some voices that, and we did debunk a few of these looking back at the actual videos, but there are some voices that we caught on the recording that we do believe are separate from the spirit box audio. Yeah, some of TR's wife's spirit box does come through.
I think she had it up really, really loud, so I could hear her spirit box outside of her headphones, because she had it up very loud. So you can hear some of her spirit box.
But
I don't know what this ringing was. Super weird. We've used the spirit box numerous times. She had the exact same one as we do, and we've never had that high-pitched ringing come through. So I don't know what it was. It could have simply been a technology thing, but it was very odd.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to play that now.
Have you ever jumped over the rail? I won't tell.
Mother?
I feel it.
Mama?
Are you looking for your mom? What's your name? We can help you.
Help.
Do you need help finding your mom?
Lonely?
You're lonely? Well, we can help you. What's your name? My name is Kayla.
Sure.
Where are you trying to go? Did you come here with your mom?
No.
Are you trying to get home? Can you tell me your name so that I can help you?
Girl?
I'm a girl too. My name's Kayla.
Do you know your address?
Do you live here in town?
Puking?
Are you sick? Is that why you came here? To get treatment?
People. I did.
What did you do? Did you come here by yourself?
Walter.
Is Walter here with you to help you?
Do you like Walter? Does Walter take care of you?
Does Walter help protect you?
Does Walter hurt you?
You are.
Does Walter hurt you?
Are you trying to go home?
Vacation?
Did you come here on a trip?
No, thank you. You help.
Where are you from?
Fatal. Or cradle.
Did you come here because you're sick? Can we help you?
Woohoo! Visit foretold.
Heart level? Did I?
You have something wrong with your heart? Is that why you're here? Is Walter helping you?
Outside.
Do that.
What's outside?
Emily.
You're, are we talking to Emily or Emily sitting in the chair? Emily, do you like when we sing Itsy Bitsy Spider to you?
I'm here.
You're here? Thank you for talking to us. How can we help you?
Don't be surprised.
April.
Is it the month of April?
No.
Is your name April?
Is that your mother's name?
Is April your middle name?
You got it. What the flip?
Do you know your last name?
Do you have brothers or sisters?
So there was a lot of voices coming through TR's wife's spirit box that she wasn't repeating. So I don't know as if she couldn't make out what it was saying, so she just didn't repeat it, or if she wasn't hearing them. I don't know, but so that's what a lot of those voices you hear that we're not responding to, they were coming from her spirit box, but she wasn't repeating what she was hearing. So I'm not sure what was going on there.
Yeah, because there were a lot of instances where I felt like we were getting a direct response to something, but I couldn't quite make it out. Mm-hmm. And then I need to go back and listen whenever we edit this more closely, because there were a few times that I thought I heard a cry. I thought I heard in the same voice frequently. There was something.
Yeah, there was a lot of crying coming through, which obviously would not have been TRI.
No, and I feel like I did hear a whisper while you were asking a question, so I doubt that was anybody. Mm-hmm. But on my end, during that entire thing, I thought I was hearing a little girl, like, past the headphones, like, to the point where it was a weird experience. Like, it was the first time doing, like, the Estes method where I actually felt like something was happening. Like,
because this was probably your third or fourth time doing the Estes method. Yeah. And
like, it's the first time it almost felt like kind of a meditative state. Like, I was very focused on what I was doing. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was just like, whew, it was weird. It
was weird energy, because
TR
and I kept looking at each other like, what is going on?
Yeah, and then I, like, literally, I remember just not necessarily, like, feeling anything, but getting the sense that somebody, like, wanted to hold my hand or something. Like, it was just weird. Like, I thought I could hear voices. I thought something wanted to hold my hand. I don't know. It was a weird experience. And when I got out of it, that's, like, when I said when we went back into the Ghost Central, and I just ate a bunch of cookies because I felt drained. Mm-hmm. It was weird. But my theory, which who knows, but I kind of feel like I was, like, speaking for Emily and TR's wife was speaking for Walter.
I agree, because a lot of her responses were more, I don't even know if aggressive is the right term, but more forceful, like, go outside.
Yeah, like, stop talking almost.
Yeah, and when she said what the flip, I'm pretty sure it actually was what the fuck, and she was a very sweet woman who probably didn't want to cuss.
And on that, like, next time we do an Estes method, I want to be a lot better about it, because I actually did hear a lot of swearing at one point, and I didn't say anything because I kind of got the sense they wouldn't like it, but, like, I should have at least been like, something is
cussing up a storm.
Yeah, because, like, I need to just get better at calling out, and, like, if it sounds like a man or a woman speaking or something like that. But yeah, there was a certain point where something was pissed off and just swearing. And
in a man's voice?
Yeah. And I remember just being like, oh God, what is that?
I wonder if it was Walter.
I know. It was bizarre.
Because TR twice asked, is Walter hurting you?
Yes. And the way he asked it, like,
was of, like, very concerned.
Yeah,
like,
it was like he had suspicions and, like
accusatory, I guess.
Yeah. It was. And, like, after that, I don't know. My whole little theory is that Emily was, like, kidnapped or taken and is outside the building somewhere, like, her body or something, which is, like, way wild, just, like, making random guesses off what we got from a little box. But
that's why
let car go by. Jesus.
That's why we need to probably go back and try to connect with Emily again.
But that's kind of what it seemed to be me. Like, it seemed like she was trying to tell us something that Walter didn't want her to say. Mm-hmm. And I do not get the vibes that Walter's a good ghost.
Not after that so. I really had no opinion, but after this Estes method, and I don't get good vibes either.
And honestly, like, and this is probably going to sound terrible, but the thought of, like, a male spirit for some reason being the one that's shepherding all the children's spirits, I don't know.
Gives icky vibes.
Yeah, it does. And especially when their initial opinions of him were like, he is not a good spirit, he's not a good guy. And then something changes, and like, I don't know.
Maybe he's trying to then showcase that he's really not protecting them.
Yeah.
But he's trying to give this image that he is.
But with that interaction, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've not felt the same since that. It's just like one of those moments where it's just like, it was weird enough that you're just like, what just happened? Mm-hmm. So I really want to do Estes Method at this next location that supposedly has a demon and see how I feel after that.
We're going to go in with a lot of protection. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. And ironically, well, not ironically, but it's interesting that our Haunted Dolls Estes Method was after Hall of Waters. It's the first time we did it again since then, and even that was different.
Yeah, please go check out our Instagram where we posted some clips from our Haunted Dolls episode. We were clearly talking to a child or something that was pretending to be a child, and that was just a couple weeks after Hall of Waters.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I've noticed with the spirit box, because I was definitely very skeptical about it the first few times we used it, because it seems we're not really big on using technology for our thing. We like to do EVPs. We like to just hear things.
Yeah, like just get audio stuff through our phones or a digital recorder, like very low tech.
As simple as possible. The spirit box, honestly, was the first thing we got because it was like the cheapest thing we could get. Mm-hmm. The more we've used it, the more I've found that like you can tell very easily the things that are just like, oh, you're hearing the radio station. Because what was it we got at the Haunted Dolls one? It was like, 30% off.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we know what that is. But then...
And sometimes you can get like bass. You can clearly tell it's like a sports announcer.
You can hear like a bit of just snippets of music and you're like, I know that song. But when there are some moments that I've now experienced where you get a single voice that seems to go over that audio. Like you can still hear the skipping in the background and you just get one thing, or you can just
or like the amount of cries.
Yes, the crying.
Like that's not on a radio station.
Yeah, no, that stuff like that has made me believe in it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, whatever it's doing.
Yeah,
there's something to it. I mean, we got that.
And I still think Spirit Box is sort of low tech in the sense that all it's doing, it's just scanning radio stations very rapidly. It's not really doing anything other than that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're fine. I can't even remember what I was going to say now, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. But it doesn't end there. We somehow got more evidence.
But wait, there's more.
Yes.
Yeah, this was probably only, I don't even know if this was halfway through the night when we had this Estes method.
It was not. And we had actually we did know how that went. That was one of those things where we actually realized, oh shit, something happened.
Yeah, I guess like what we played first in the women's spot, obviously we left the recorder so we didn't know we captured any of that. This Estes method was the first thing like we experienced in person at Hall of Waters.
Yep. So after that, we went to the swimming pool, which is terrifying to me.
It's massive.
It's the biggest freaking pool, and like it's
I guess you can give the dimensions.
Yeah, it's so it's a 30 feet wide, 75-foot long pool with the deepest end. The deepest end's 9 feet and 6 inches. Mm-hmm. That doesn't seem right.
That's what TR said on the recorder.
No way. That's not 9 feet. That looked like 100 feet.
Well, we were
at least.
It does seem more like it was like 12 feet or something, but TR literally said 9 feet 6 inches.
I mean, he probably knows, but it looked freaking massive.
Well, the water's not going to be all the way to the top of the pool.
It's
true. Usually like a foot, probably lower.
That still doesn't seem like enough.
It still seems like it was more like 12 feet.
Yeah.
The deep end.
Maybe it was like a 1920s 9 feet were different.
Yeah, maybe they measured differently.
Yeah. It was the height of 5 men standing on each other's shoulders. That's how I measure. So yeah, it's just, honestly, it scared me because it's another one of those things where there's like, it was almost like, you know how gyms have that lap around, like raised running track thing. Mm-hmm. It kind of almost had something like that circling the pool, and the pool's
like a mezzanine, like looking out down on them.
The mezzanine word.
Well, that's what they're called.
I know, but it makes you sound so fancy. Oh, the mezzanine. I've literally only ever heard that word used at like fancy theaters and cruise ships.
Well, I just got back from a cruise, so I love the word mezzanine.
I've just been here doing nothing. Anyways, so we get up on this mezzanine, and we're looking down at the giant 500 million feet deep pool that's drained, obviously. And he's telling us about the spirits there. There's like 2 women of the night who like to that's the theory. They like huddle in the corner, and they're shy, and they're just out there going. That's how I imagine that they're just there.
We said that they would get, like, they're pretty active on, like, recorders, getting their voices.
Yeah, but they like their distance. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to be like, hey, women of the night.
Don't approach them aggressively.
Yes. The them being sex workers thing is just a theory. They don't know if that was the case. I think they kind of came to the potential conclusion because I think that was kind of a common thing, because a lot of people, when they came to the area, like, obviously there's a lot of travel, a lot of hotels. You get a lot of business from people wanting things while they're in town, and, you know, that's one of the things. They didn't have OnlyFans, so they had
brothels.
Yes, or they had women who hung out in the mezzanine at the pool, and they're like, pool women, come here. So there's that, and then there's a little boy named Danny who just chills at, like, the, what's that called? We need this.
The diving board. Yeah, I wish I could be filming her with my hand motions here. This is why you just keep going.
This is why we need a video. I was like, what is this thing? You know, that goes boing, boing, boing.
The diving board?
Yes, that. I'm good with words. This is a good thing I do a podcast. Anyways, little Danny lives by the diving board. Little Danny at the diving board.
Little Danny boy.
Little Danny diving door. I'm losing it. This is what happens when we try to fix audio for 5 years. So, those are the ghosts. Oh, and they see shadow people passing between the columns. There's that, and, like, okay. So the pool is, like, in an atrium type thing. Look, I can use big words too. Yeah, so, you know, there's windows everywhere. Still moving my hands a lot. So they would see, like, you can see figures kind of passing between the columns and the windows because there's street lamps outside. So when something darts from there, especially at night, you can see the figures kind of running. Mm-hmm. Which the visual of that really scared me.
Yeah, we actually didn't spend that long in the pool.
We didn't.
We need to go back and investigate it more fully.
Yeah, because it was, like, at the end of the night. We could tell TR was getting really tired, but he would have humored us as long as he possibly could. But to set the scene for our investigation in the pool, TR kind of sat in a chair near the entrance, which was actually quite a ways away. Mm-hmm. And we just sat on the floor next to the pool and just did our thing. I think all we did was EVP sessions. Like, we didn't even do anything else.
Yeah, I think we probably did about it was a 15-minute EVP session because I just pulled the audio.
Yeah, so we were
and I actually didn't realize TR. I thought he had gone back to Ghost Central. I didn't even realize, because that kind of comes into effect. I didn't realize he was just sitting there. But he was just sitting there quietly, just hanging out.
So at the pool, we did our usual, the whole investigation thing, ask the questions, blah, blah, blah. We thought nothing happened for a while at all. Like, nothing. Interestingly enough, everything we did get, we actually heard with our ears.
Yep, with our ears.
With our 2 ears. So we'll play this first one.
If you don't want to say anything, could you tap on a window or knock on the wall? Is that you? Try one more time.
If it did it again, I would.
Nothing happened again, sadly.
That was. I thought it was more like a.
Like, we didn't get tapping at any other time in the 15, 20 minutes we were investigating in the pool. So, that's weird that it happened after you asked it to.
And that's not all.
No, this one's fainter.
Is our friend Tim here with us? It's just us two now.
You have to try to make sure we don't forget our equipment again. We left some.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, are you gonna sass me saying I probably will forget it? Either that was a voice or it's TR talking.
Oops, I just kicked my phone while it's recording. Did we just hear someone just now?
Can you tell us your name? Yeah, are you gonna sass me saying I'll probably will forget it? Either that was a voice or it's TR talking.
Yeah, but we did hear that. We heard that voice. We both heard it because I think that silence after we were like looking at each other like, did you hear that? And then Kayla's like, either that's TR or that was a ghost. And then I think I was like, no, TR's
And then you're pointing, like,
Yeah,
I don't think you say anything, but you point, like, no, TR's, like, right over there. And I turn around, because there's video of me, and I turn around, and I'm like...
And I think he might have been asleep.
Yeah, so I think he was, I think, just in a chair.
Yeah.
At this point, it's, like, almost 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
and we were supposed to be done at midnight, so...
Yeah, so we heard 2 things with our ears, and then we caught them on camera, too. So it's just...
Yeah, that one we have on all of our devices.
Yeah.
The video camera, my digital recorder, and then also your iPhone. So that's just crazy.
And I don't know if that means that it was Tim, and it's just literally Tim's just always here, but...
I mean, we kind of think he might be.
God.
But wait! There's even more!
This place, that when we say this place is ridiculously haunted, I mean, we're not even joking. It's just... It's obscene. It's not even, it shouldn't be like this. So we did go to the tower, I think pretty much after the pool, because it was a pretty direct path from there, and it was kind of the last thing TR wanted to show us. We didn't really get to investigate it very much, but TR did have some very cool evidence that he caught during, I think it was like during a thunderstorm, which is interesting because, you know, we've talked about how electricity and everything can feed into paranormal activity, and a lot of investigators believe that storms and everything can ramp up activity, which either that's true or storms are just scary.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Bill Thurman, who...
He is a verified person.
Yeah, he was an electrician at the Elms.
Yeah, but he volunteered at Hall of Waters.
And I believe he was known to be a bit of a
The reason why he volunteered at Hall of Waters is because that's where his girlfriend, his mistress, worked. And so that was his excuse to be able to see her in the evenings away from his wife.
And I think that, so the evidence that TR caught was actually a recording of, like a video, the security camera, and it wasn't it of the door opening and like a mist coming out of it?
And the door is locked.
Yeah.
Like, it must be locked at all times because no one can go up into the tower, obviously, because that's the roof access. So he keeps it locked at all time, and you see this door, like, it's thrust open.
Yeah.
And there's this mist.
And didn't they use the tower for their little rendezvous?
Allegedly.
So his thought was like that was kind of the oh crap, I forgot the word. Oh no. Residual. The residual haunting of kind of Mr. Thurman going up into the tower to do his sexy times. His ghostly mist sexy times.
It's so sexy up there.
So sexy. Yeah, so sexy. Love all those spider webs and weird ledges you have
That's
to jump off
probably
of.
more clean now than it was back then. I don't know.
I imagine if they were using it frequently, it might have been quite gross.
Anyways.
Sorry, I got a little steamy in here. That's what he is. He's not mist, he's steam. He's so hot. But anyway, so we didn't really catch anything while we were there. It was scary solely because it's like they kind of gave up on building the tower. So it's like this poor TR, he has to maintain the building and he has to handle the lights there. And like there's no actual path to access this point. Like you have to
Like
climb up these narrow stairs.
And then you have to, like, climb over this hole,
Yeah,
like
this
this
giant
giant
pit
to
of
get to
death.
the others, to get to the ladder to climb up the tower to change the light bulbs.
Yeah.
But you have to crawl over the tower of death. I thought I was going to fall in.
I did too. I was like, well,
This is how I
this old man's going to be able to do this. And I'm just like, ah! And then he's like, you want to climb this ladder? Just this, like, ginormous ladder into this tower of doom. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm not scared of heights, but I am now. It was a thing. It was a whole ordeal. But
I wanted to bring up the tower now because Mr. Thurman is going to play a factor into some evidence we got in the basement.
ba-ba-ba-ba.
Da-da-da-da.
Okay. So the basement
Massive.
yeah, way bigger than I realized. Like, there are some giant pillars in there that they're spending, what was it, close to like $1 million in restoring to keep the building up, because so much of, like, basically it's hollow underneath the Hall of Waters because they use it for bottling the water and kind of all of that, and it does flood frequently because of where it's located, obviously. It's
All the springs.
all the springs, and it's just a big marshy pit under there, and they do kind of have to maintain.
So that's
it,
why the
so it
flood
doesn't-
pump is constantly going. Like, I think TR said if he was to shut it off within hours, the basement would be flooded.
Yeah, and I believe it because the arguably creepiest part of the basement is where a spirit known as the Coal Man resides, and it's literally
The boiler room.
yeah, it's terrifying. It's like sectioned off, it's flooded.
Yeah, it's got 2 feet of water, TR said.
Yeah, and then we're looking at this in the dark, and he's describing how there's a violent spirit of their old boiler man there who used to literally attack people, like lunge at them, physically attack them, all of these things. And the only reason he doesn't do that anymore is they no longer let people walk into his area. Like, it's completely sectioned off. It's
Yeah.
his area, and
Yeah, TR had said that they, like, told him, okay, if you will, we won't come down to the boiler room anymore, but you've gotta leave us alone.
yeah, and he mentioned that the reason that the reason they're having so many people coming in and, like, walking through here is because they're trying to save the building, and having people going on these paranormal tours is funding, like, the restorations and everything. So in theory, that kind of kept the Coal Man at bay. And I think, who was it else that was haunting in there with them? His brother and nephew?
Yeah.
So it's just a whole team there still shoveling coal
Family business.
to death and beyond. I really, whenever we go back, I would like to kind of, like, because, so the entrance to the boiler room, basically we were standing on the top of a flight of stairs that led down into it. That's the only place you could get. I'd really like to just sit on that stairs and try to do an actual investigation, since we didn't. I was honestly terrified.
Yeah.
Because the whole aesthetic, and I'm sure we've got some pictures of it, all of it was terrifying. And just
Well, in
knowing
the
it was a violent
basement,
ghost.
massive roaches.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god. When we turned all the lights off, that's all I could think about was, like, if ever I feel something on my fucking ankle, I'm going to flip out.
Yeah, and the basement itself, like, it's just a very loud area because, like Kayla mentioned, those flood pumps, they're loud. Like, they kick on.
We jumped every time.
It's like, boom! And you're like, ah, God. You kind of get used to it, but not really. So they got that going on. It's dark. It's windy. Like, there are little offshoot rooms everywhere. There's cockroaches. There's, like, stuff peeling off the ceiling. It's
Yeah.
just, it looks like it should be haunted. And it is. And a lot of the stories of the hauntings are people hearing, like, voices and people running and shuffling, which we did.
Which voices happened to us? Funny you should say that.
We heard all of those things. Funny. It's like the only place we've been to where, like, these things happen, and we're like, they sure do. Correct. And not
Yeah,
only
that's a good way to phrase it. This Hall of Waters was so, like, TR would be like, this is what we get, and then we got it.
yeah. And you're like, oh, you do get it. We got more. We got, like, on top of that.
Yeah.
It's just, so this, another instance of the first time we've done, like, a very popular method actually, like, doing the thing and it working. This is the first time we've had a successful communication with a spirit using the mag flashlight. So I don't know, I'm sure you guys know the experiment, but basically you kind of set the little mag flashlight that you can kind of twist to turn on and off. You set it right in between off and on. So in theory, if it's tapped, the flashlight will turn on. And when you're using this flashlight, you want to have the communication so that you're asking, you know, like, yes, no questions. Yes, turn the light on. No, turn it off, essentially, or kind of it gets to the point where it's basically like on or off is a response to that point. So that's kind of what we did. We did that for the first time, and we had a long conversation.
I mean, we were down there for, I don't even know, a couple hours. Because we kind of went to the 2 sections of the basement. And the first, hopefully I'm not interrupting you, but like,
No,
so we
fine.
were in one side of the basement at first, and really nothing was happening until we were called to the other side of the basement.
Yeah, literally, we were in one side to the point where we were almost like, because it was so dark and stuff, it kind of was so quiet that we were almost getting like sleepy in there. Like, it's just like nothing's happening. It's this dark, humid.
I mean, we had TR had the flashlights out, and like,
nothing.
no, they are not turning on at all.
Yep. And then all of us heard a loud bang and a scream.
Yep.
Did you hear like a yep? Yeah. Sounded like a
I heard like a man's voice.
yeah, same.
So who's down here? We heard you. It's okay. We just want to learn more about you. We're curious. And the way we do that is if you light up the lights as a yes response, then we can be able to communicate back and forth, learn some about each other.
Did you hear like a yep? Yeah. Sounded like
I heard like a man's voice.
yeah, same.
So who's down here?
Back up.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
So it's like a tap. It sounded louder in person.
it did.
It's more just a tap.
Did you hear like a yep?
It was louder in person than what our
Yeah, it was.
recorders caught up.
Yeah, we all commented on it. We all heard it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's why there's a little bit of a pause, because I think we're all like, well,
Yeah.
it's dark, but like kind of like looking. Well, I had my night vision camera, so I look over at Emily and I'm like, did you hear that?
This was another. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm yawning so much. The caffeine's wearing off. This was another one during this investigation. So there's a doorway that we were kind of all facing, and the door was closed, but we could see like a sliver of light under the door, and we kept seeing like it looked like somebody was walking back and forth.
about that,
Like we
yeah.
kept seeing movement. There's so much that we forget. How is that possible?
That's too much to remember.
So yeah, we heard that, what sounded like a very faint tap, and it was much louder in person. We heard that, and we're like, oh, well, let's go towards the sound.
So then we move over to the other side, and TR sets up the flashlights. And I don't think we're going to include all this, maybe someday in our video. We got so much call and response with the flashlights, like, because they wouldn't turn on because, we would say, turn it on for a yes. Sometimes it wouldn't turn on, sometimes it would, but the response was always right after asking a question.
Yeah, literally. Like, we were there for ever. We were like trying to figure out their favorite color.
Yeah,
Like,
I started running out of questions because I'm like, what's your favorite color? Because we were down there so long.
and literally they answered, though.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, Kayla was like, blue, yellow, green, orange. But the ghost still answered.
Yeah, and every time we asked it, can you turn off that flashlight? It would. Yeah. Like, because other times we wouldn't say that and the light would just stay on, but every time we asked, can you turn it off? It turned off. Like, It was incredible.
And we've literally never had that happen before, which we haven't used the flashlight very much. We're going to have to use it more. But it's another one of those instances where it's like, okay, I believe in this a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Like, where I hadn't before, but now it's just like, well,
And all this evidence that we caught is stuff we did not hear in person. And some of it is pretty compelling, so it's crazy that we didn't hear it in person.
Yeah, so let's go back to our giant pool of evidence. When did we get this one? I don't quite remember.
So the knocks happened a little earlier. The rest of these are all pretty close together. They're within 10 minutes.
Was this during our flashlight session?
Yes.
Okay, so this was during that. All right,
So I don't know if you want to play the knocks first or the...
Oh, there it is. Okay. Here we go. This is ridiculous. Oh, shit. Oh, shit!
It's a silly way to probably play evidence.
Oh, it's unplugged. JK.
Do you think you could make another loud bang for us?
And we got like I said, we were down there like 2 hours in the basement. Those knocks don't happen any other time because I sat there and listened to all that audio.
That is crazy.
And
It
it
sounds
was
like somebody bouncing a ball almost.
Yeah, and it literally is after I asked, can you make a noise again
they're
for
like,
us?
yeah, I can.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's insane. At least it wasn't 3, thank God.
I know, I'm actually kind of glad that fourth knock snuck in there.
It's like we're going to scare him. Just leave it at 3 for a second and be like, not just kidding.
That fourth knock does sound farther away, like they were kind of retreating.
You imagine he's just walking.
Like walking down the hall knocking.
Ooh, that's almost creepier than him
Yeah.
just standing there just...
But it's so crazy. I mean, between the only knocks we got, both like in the pool and this one, were after you and I ask for them to tap. Like, that is intelligent spirits. So basically everything we got in the basement was intelligent then. Because...
Should we get a yes?
And a no.
Jesus Christ. This place is stupid.
Alright, can you turn it off, please? We'll think of something. Thank you.
Is your favorite color blue? Do you have a unique favorite color like a periwinkle? Do you have a unique favorite color like a periwinkle?
So that one, we are kind of shuffling around, and I don't know what's going on with my voice. I sound very hoarse, but
It was weird. That's why we need to wear masks in some of these places, I think, because they do get to our lungs.
yeah, especially that basement is very dusty and stuff. But yeah, so after, I think one of us says, that's a lot of colors? And you hear a yep.
Yep.
And then I ask, do you have a unique favorite color, like periwinkle? No.
Yeah, really sassy. No.
Well, this was definitely towards the end of our session where I'm running out of questions, so I'm freaking asking what their favorite color is.
I know, the ghost just like, oh my God, why am I even talking to you?
But then we got another intelligent response in the basement. So let's play that.
Do you like Mr. Thurman?
To me, it kind of sounds like an old man, like, yes. Yeah, that's the basement. Was definitely, there's intelligent spirits down there because everything we got down there was a response.
Yeah, direct response to a question in multiple ways.
So, I mean, the tapping is really crazy, I think. I mean, on the voice. I mean, it's all crazy. I don't know. It's all crazy.
I know, like my
head is spinning.
I know. It's like, how is there so much in one freaking place? God, I want to.
And everywhere we went, 'cause, sometimes it's like, okay, a building, it's like a certain area might be active versus other areas. But it's like, TR was right. Like, before we started the night, he was like, there's spirits everywhere. There's no place is unactive. And
the thing is, though, while we were there, they were saying that this is the quietest it's ever been. Like, they were like, this is so quiet, I'm so sorry. But, like, we get this amount of evidence.
I mean, I guess a lot of this we didn't know we captured.
Yeah, we thought it was another kind of fail of a night.
I mean, we had that Estes method, and we heard the noises in the pool, and we heard the bang and the yell in the basement. But I guess everything else we didn't hear live. So, yeah. I mean, Hall of Waters, we definitely want to go back, and I encourage all of you guys to visit.
Yeah, definitely do an investigation there. The tour is great, and we don't think it'll disappoint.
Nope. Yeah, because if this is, quote, a quiet night, then I can't imagine what an active night is like.
Yeah, and, like, one thing, which I don't know, with our style of investigating, I'm sure you guys are familiar now, we do a lot of really quiet investigating. We don't want to use a lot of additional tools or gadgets or anything, and I feel like a lot of times those kind of muddy the investigation and kind of lead you to miss some of the things that are actually happening, because if we'd relied solely on tools outside of, like, recorders, we really wouldn't have known what all was happening, because most of what we caught because it was quiet. Mm-hmm. And
we know that no one else was talking at that moment, or just no other devices were talking.
Right, like, that would be my biggest advice if you go there. Just
be.
Recorders. Yeah, just be there. Just exist. Just be quiet. Ask some questions. Wait to see if anybody answers. They probably will, because Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's a cool, and, like, even, I mean, I think you'd capture evidence, but even if you didn't, it's just a really cool building, and it's cool that you can go to so many parts of it. It's cool to explore.
No, the history is amazing. It's a gorgeous building, and we're really hoping that we can get it some more attention, because I would love to see that for the building and see it, like,
get the notoriety that the Elms has, because I think it's way more haunted than the Elms.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just, like, it's perfect for ghost hunting. My God.
It's such a cool building. Like, you'll see, and if you go to our Instagram, at Remnants Paranormal, you can see some of the photos and videos we've got of the place, and it's so cool.
And another, like, interesting commentary, because we did ask TR, since, like we mentioned, the building is actively being used still as a government office. He said that the women who work there acknowledge that it is haunted. Like, they say things happen, but they don't like to talk about it. They don't like to really... Mm-hmm. So when I say they acknowledge it, like, yes, they are aware things happen, but they don't acknowledge it in the sense that they don't want to give it the attention to be afraid of it, essentially.
They gotta work there.
Yeah, because things do happen every day. Mm-hmm. Basically, it is that haunted that just being there, you're going to experience something. So...
pretty crazy.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to go back sometime and rehash some of this and just see what the hell.
Right? So if you go back on your own and have stuff happen, or you just want to comment on this episode and what we captured, you can either on Instagram at Remnants Paranormal or email us. Our email is dumb, but it's podcast.remnants@gmail.com. Yeah, just let us know. We want to hear from you. And what else should we say? Oh, please leave us a review.
Yes, please. Oh my God.
Because that will help us get unburied. Because I think you still have to type in our full name, Remnants, a Paranormal Podcast, for us to pop up. But the more ratings and reviews we have, we'll get unburied. If you
and not to be, like, picky, but if you could give us a review on iTunes, that would be great. Since you can't actually leave, like, full reviews there.
Yeah, I think Spotify, you can only, like, rate it.
Which is also amazing.
Do both.
Do both, please. We would love that. Just, please.
Yes.
Since it's almost the new year already, we're hoping 2024 is going to be even more spooky.
Yes. Yeah, we've got a lot that we want to do, and we will do. So.
Yeah.
So we will, we'll see you later.
Mr. Coleman, dream me a dream.